Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the D2D Experts and D2D Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
Register today for D2D Con, January 10th through 12th. Learn from over 40 amazing speakers, including the real Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. Come as a team, learn as a team, leave as a tribe.
All right, everybody. My name is Sam Taggart, and I am with the greatest sales solar rep and partner in the world. And I will hands down say that, and whoever wants to fight me on this, come fight me, because he won't earn one golden door this year. He won't earn 2 golden doors. He will earn 3 golden door awards this year. That means 3 megawatts installed. He's currently sitting at, he's already earned it because it's technically 100 installs. He's at 8 installs this year already. And last year he earned two and a half golden door awards. So everybody saw him up on stage. He was the only one to earn multiple golden door awards in 1 year. He is a partner at Sun Solar Solutions. He runs a team called the Abundant Power or Abundant Energy. Is that what it's called?
Abundant Power Team.
Abundant Power Team. He's out of Arizona. The one, the only, Michael O'Donnell. So welcome to the show, man. I hope that was a decent enough, because I don't even think I could give a cool enough intro to this. Like, this is awesome.
Well, the good part about it, they say, it's hard to brag about yourself, but if it's true, it ain't bragging. So it's good to hear you say some things that were true. And I'm proud and honored to be able to be someone that identifies with those things and that they are true. So thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to joining you.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward. I'm looking forward to, 1, this podcast, but 2, you speaking at D2D Con. Last year, I kind of like finagled you to come up on stage for a little bit in my workshop. I'm like, some old fart sells 2.5 megawatts. I've never even heard of this guy. Get up here. So it's like,
oh, sure.
Said,
so you have to mix in the 2.5 golden doors or with old fart. Okay, I get it. Hey, just because I started selling solar in 1984, that does not make me an old fart. I'm going to be knocking on doors for a long time. I got a lot of years ahead.
I think, no, this is like more power to you, because you know how many times I run into people that are like, once I hit 30, there's no way I'd keep knocking doors. Like, I don't know if my body can keep hacking it. And I just hear so many dumb excuses of people that, you know, they think it's a young man's job. They think of it as just like something that, like, I'll eventually graduate into a real job. But it's kind of like, if somebody knew, okay, what the overrides were, and I don't want to dive into this because I know people are selling all sorts of stuff listening to this, but if people knew and understood what 3 megawatts personally sold being an owner would look like from a commission standpoint, I mean, that's, I don't know what you could call a real job at that point. It's kind of, that's ludicrous.
In Pretty Woman, when the sales guy comes up to Richard Gere, who's told him to take care of his girls because he's going to be spending a lot of money. Remember that scene? Yeah. And the sales clerk guy comes up, he says, "Sir, are we talking about a lot of money, or are we talking about an obscene amount of money?" And Richard Gere puts his cell phone down. He says, "We're talking obscene." Yeah. So yeah, if you can get 3 million watts of solar on the board and come into that at a pretty good level, you're talking obscene money.
Obscene. I mean, I've been in the solar space and I've sold a heck of a lot of solar, but I would look like a freaking rookie in comparison. Like, not even like this. So the only comparable statistic that I could like hold the flame to what you do is Adam Shantz throwing in 207 in a week alarm accounts. And that was kind of like, whoa, we can't even fathom that. This would be the comparable in the solar space to the rest of the world, those that are listening, to kind of put some, just to put some perspective to this. So today we're going to really dive.
Floored when you introduced the guy that had like 900 sold closed alarm accounts last year, whatever that number was. I mean, like, dude, you sold 3 a day, 7 days a week. I mean, Wow, that's insane. So, yeah, that's the good thing about D2D Con. No matter where you're at, you're going to find somebody who's so far ahead of you, and you're also going to be able to talk to someone who's just, a little ways or quite a ways down the road, behind you. And either one of those places, it's a humbling experience to get to be able to share in either one of those directions. And I think really that's the core of what's happening at D2D Con.
Yeah, no, and so it was cool that you came last year, and I guess I kind of want to jam on like a lot of people that are watching this are probably like, should I go to D2D Con? Like, why would I do? First off, I want to know, I mean, a guy like you, it's like, what do you got to learn? So why the heck would you even go? Like, how'd you even hear about it? Like, why did you even go to the event last year, and what'd you take from it?
Well, I tell you, I have a lot to learn and had a lot to learn then. I learned a tremendous amount. A funny story about me is I was the hottest door-to-door solar salesman in 1984 that had come along a long way. I happen to have a kind of a natural knack for being able to get the door and then also being able to close. I really consider myself a closer. There's guys in the world that are great at knocking on doors and setting appointments. There are guys that are great on the phone. There's guys that are great at closing. I have happened to have experience in all three of those realms. I started out as a, knocking on doors, selling lawn, selling mow your lawn jobs when I was 12. I was the best recruiter or the best getting subscriptions paper boy while being the worst paper boy in the district. At the exact same time, my route manager wanted to fire me every week for being late and being lousy and being short on my bill. And yet he would pick me up every week and take me onto a route that needed subscriptions because I could knock on door and sell, 5 or 6 subscriptions. So I knew how to do that as a kid. Something that I heard at D2D Con that really hit me, and that's that, somebody said, yeah, I know you're doing this door-to-door thing, and the grandma doesn't know that they're making, multiple 6 figures doing it. But honey, when do you think you're going to get a real job? And I was crushing I was crushing the planet of door-to-door when I was 16, 18, 19 years old. I started closing solar when I was 19 years old. I closed my first 7 solar appointments, which were solar heaters in 1984. But I was going to college for IT. I was going to college to learn how to be an IT engineer, which I never planned on being an engineer. I always planned on being a salesman. But in my mind, a real job looked like wearing an IBM blue suit and going to work for IBM, being in corporate America. And that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to get a real job. So I learned how to make all kinds of money. Like, my first month in solar, I sold the first 7, and they just, every time I sold one, they handed me another 4-figure check. I'm in college. I only need Burr money. I don't even have a bank account. And I got people coming over to like hang out with me in my dorm room. And they're like, dude, this check is for $750. I'm like, yeah, that's what they give me when I close one of these solar systems. Like, no kidding, man, $750. Yeah, that's what they give me. Dude, there's another one of these checks on your dresser here for $750. I go, yeah, they give me one of those every single time I sell one of those solar systems. And there's a stack of paper like on my dresser. And he's go, dude, all of these are checks for $750. What in the holy? I go, well, I cashed one and I still have half the money left, so I haven't, I don't know what to do with the rest of them. He goes, dude, you got to go to the bank. Sometimes these companies go out of business. So, I learned how to do this, kind of had a knack for doing it, but I had it in my head. I have to go get a real job. And guys, I spent the next 25 years in corporate America doing conference calls at 6:30 in the morning. And yeah, I was able to bang out, $250,000 on a great year, $1.25 on a bad year. And somehow in my mind, I had developed this framework where if I was 1 point something 6 figures, or hey, maybe I had a year where I had 400K in a year, and maybe I'm going to have another one of those years, but I'm going to deal with corporate America structuring my pay and limiting what I can make and bullshit meetings. Can you say that on this podcast? Yeah. And I spent 25 years showing up for that deal and just sort of in this bracket. And I got to tell you, when I finally had a friend of mine say, dude, you got to come check this out. We're a solar company. I go, man, I know all about solar. I know how to sell solar. He goes, you know how to sell solar? I go, yeah, I learned how to do it when I was a kid. He says, come with me. We go, I sell the first one. I sell the next one. I went into my company and I quit my job. And I said, you know what? I'm done having a real job. I'm going to go knock on doors. So when I came and found you at D2D, I was really in my first year and a half, 2.5 years of doing that. I felt like I really did have a lot to learn, and I do have a lot to store. And every time I talk to someone else who knocks on doors, whether it be, Ali in Connecticut or wherever those guys are, every single I talk to those guys, I learned stuff that I've never seen. When I went to your little deal and I watched Ali walk up to the door, he walks up to a door and the guy opens up the door, the fake door on the stage. He knocks up on the door, Ali opens up the door, and Ali says, man, I got to go. Homeowner opens up the door, Ali says, I got to go. I just opened up my door and you're standing at my door telling me I got to go. Yeah, I got to go. Dude, I learned the most important thing in door-to-door sales, especially in solar, and not to take anything away from the guys that are getting people to sign stuff at the door, because, man, I just I'm kind of overwhelmed thinking about getting someone to sign a pest control contract while I'm at their door for the first door knock. We're always setting appointments in the solar world. I got mad respect for people who knock on a door and get someone to whip out a credit card in that session. But Ali is sitting there in the solar business like me, and we're not going to sell you anything. And he says to the guy who opens the door, he says, guy, I got to go. I only have a minute. And maybe I can stay for 10 more seconds, but I just want to give you a card and then I have to go. I have to go, but I just want to let you know I'm at your door and I need to go. That's the most genius thing I've ever heard of. I never thought of that in my whole life, and I've been using it for a whole year, and it's the coolest thing. And you want to know why? Because when you knock on someone's door, they're pretty sure you're trying to come in the door. So when they knock on the door and they open the door, I go, I have to go. I'm with your neighbors next door. Just sold them a solar system. I can't stay. Probably not going to be able to help you, but I didn't want to leave your street here helping your neighbors next door. I didn't want to leave without giving you a card, give you a possibility of maybe getting a little bit of time to talk about you going solar and, saving $250,000 or so. So anyway, here's my card. I can't go. However, I tell you what I can do. I can have an engineer look at your roof. We can figure out if solar is any good for you. It might not work for you at all. But if it does, then I'll come back and we'll talk about, what the numbers are. So I learned Ali from doing that. I'm going, holy cow, how would anybody ever knock on a door and say, I have to go? So yeah, I'm looking forward to coming this year and getting that next nugget.
Somebody tag. Okay, so let's. You took a big nugget from. Ooh, I'm getting. Jeremy Andrews, tell me about the nugget that really changed it kind of changed this whole last year.
Well, so, again, I tell you, so the real thing that happened while I was at D2D is I realized that, at 2.6 megawatts, I was going to have to do something different. For one thing, I had sort of the crutch of having this huge deadline. I sold 600 megawatts a year ago, August, and that was because there's this monstrous deadline having to do with the utility. So there was a real clutch to the crows, or a crutch to the close, because we were at someone's door going, dude, you're screwed if you don't see a solar appointment now and us get over here in the next 2 weeks. You're just going to lose out, never be able to get solar with the deal that your neighbors have. So let's just get this to happen now. So we had this huge deadline, 600 kilowatts in the month of July. So really, how do I take this to the next level? And honestly, guys, I didn't come from door to door in solar. Back in the day when everyone had a phone number, we used to just, you had a phone room. I started in solar in a phone room, dialing, smile and dial, setting appointments. You can't do that anymore because people don't have landlines. They don't have cell phones. So we had to go back to the door thing because it works. So, I was really looking for, how do I take this to the next level? And that's when it dawned on me, yes, I'm a partner in Sun Solar Solutions. They did 20 megawatts last year. They're going to exceed that this year. I'm proud to be a partner in that company, but I have resisted all attempts and all of my own instincts to try and become a, sales manager, VP of sales. I have struggled with it to come to that temptation all my life to say, oh, I'm the smartest guy and the best sales guy in the group, maybe whatever. Somebody thinks that, maybe I think that anyway. So maybe I should be the sales manager. I should get promoted to regional this and vice president of that. Guys, it's always a cut and pay. It's always, go herd cats for a salary and try and make these guys that are, losers. You're a good winning salesman. Why don't you go and try and herd losers into not being losers anymore? It's a bad job. And so I really resisted the idea. Maybe I'll go, I could promote myself. I work, I can just declare myself the sales manager, VP of sales. I even have a title and a card that says VP of sales, but I do not try to be VP of sales. I'm a salesman at Sun Solar Solutions. So how do I take that to another level? And I got this idea right off the bat, and that is I never try and knock on doors alone. We make good money in the solar industry. You get so many kilowatt. There's always 3 to 5 cents that you can carve out and say, kid, come with me. You want to learn how to make $1 million a year? Come with me and I'll show you how to do it. And then if you can figure this out, you can knock on doors for me. So every time I go and knock on doors, I always make sure I have some kid with me, or a young guy, or my sister, my niece. I literally, my sister knocks on doors for me. She is a child psychologist and a door knocker. I have a niece who's a brand new mom and a door knocker. I have people that I'm related to, close to, meeting at Denny's, whatever. But somebody says to me, I'd really like to, learn how to make money. I said, all you got to do is jump in the truck. Get in the truck. I'll take you with you and I'll let you see how to make money. Show up with me, go out with me for a couple of hours, and I'll show you how to make, an obscene amount of money. And what I do is I make them go with me while I knock on doors. And I'm teaching them, ostensibly, I'm teaching them how to knock on doors. Now, 9 out of 10 of these people never knock on doors without me, because most people can't knock on doors. Guys, we have something that most people can't have. The reason that we get paid an amount of money that's obscene, I mean, nobody gets paid the amount of money we get paid for standing at someone's door for 8 minutes or 27 minutes. It doesn't make any sense. The reason that we get paid that much money is because no one can do it. They see somebody do it, they say, God, that's the easiest thing in the world. I tell them, this is the easiest job in the whole world. You have to have no experience. You can listen to me do it once and you go do the next one, and you'll make obscene money, and people can't do it. And why can't they do it? There's just this thing inside them that is scared to death of rejection. And us superstars are scared to death of rejection as well, but getting yourself to overcome it. So here's a hack for that. Grab somebody who thinks they want to make money, who thinks they might be able to make it in sales, and just have them go with you. And tell them, I'm going to give you 5 cents. That's a lot of money. 10 kilowatt sale, that's $500. I'm going to give you 5 cents for every time somebody says, come on, you can come over, show me your solar system. If they say yes to that and I come over, I show them a solar system and they buy it, I'm going to give you $500. You're going to get 5 cents. That's $500 on a 10 kilowatt solar system. And they do. I never knock on doors for an hour and a half and don't get 2 or 3 appointments. I'll sell 2 or 3 of them. That kid makes $1,000. He's like, oh my God, you weren't kidding. You were going to show me how to make a lot of money by not doing hardly anything for hardly any amount of time. So yeah, that's absolutely the case. And then that kid never knocks on doors again. Why is that? Because he can't do it. But do I regret having had that kid come with me and have him go with me and watch me knock on doors? No. You want to know why? Why is that, Sam? Why am I glad that kid was there with me?
Because it helped force you.
Because I was at the damn door. If he wasn't with me, I wouldn't have been at that damn door.
You would have been at McDonald's, or you would have been
I'd have been at Starbucks, man. I wouldn't have been at the damn door. But because I got the kid with me, I'm showing off, and I'm showing them how to do it, and I'm hoping. And 1 out of 10 of those guys ends up. I shouldn't really call them kids. They're of all ages, but they're a kid in our industry. There's someone who wants to learn how to do this. 1 out of 10 of them will kind of get the gumption and go out by themselves, and then start being. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're doing it. Maybe you can't do this 100 hours a week, man. You just can't. If somebody's doing it 15 to 18 hours a week, that's like a really lame part-time job. But if you actually do this for 18 hours and you do this 4 hours a day, 4 days a week or 5 days a week, or if you're some crazy obsessed workaholic, 6 days a week, like you really work the whole 24 hours in a week, you're going to get 1 appointment an hour, 2 appointments an hour. You get good, you're going to get 2 or 3 appointments in an hour. You add that up. I don't care what your pay rate is. It adds up to stupid money. And that's if you're a door knocker. That's not if you're closing. If you learned how to go and close a sale, that's when it starts to become obscene. Now you got the money for being at the door, and you got the money for going in and closing the sale. You add those together, it's truly obscene to get paid thousands of dollars for a couple hours work. You're making more money than a brain surgeon.
It's so true. So let's kind of dive into your schedule, because at the end of the day, it's you. What we look like to sell that many deals.
Well, first of all, I haven't finished working today unless I have 3 appointments tomorrow. Right? Because if I don't have 3 appointments tomorrow, I'm like burning up hours that are worth thousands of dollars. So the way I know I'm done working today is if I have 3 appointments tomorrow. The way I know I'm done working on a week is if I have, 3 appointments for several of the days next week. So I'm not done working on a Friday, which means I'm going to be working into a Saturday and a Sunday if I don't have 3 appointments a day for several, getting into the first, second, third, maybe the 4th day of next week. That means I'm still working. I'm still at a door. I'm still rescheduling an appointment that slipped or whatever. So I've got to be I got to have 3 appointments a day for 2 or 3 days out. So my schedule might be that I have all that done, and today I'm going to go play golf. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to go up to my cabin. My schedule is super intense, or I'm super not working at all. That's what my schedule is. So, but I've got 3 appointments a day. That means I'm going to be in 2 or 3 presentations a day, and then I'm going to be finding time to knock on doors with one of my door knockers. So, and that's what I've done. So I'm a partner at Sun Solar Solutions. What I got at D2D Con, and I walked away from D2D Con with a plan, wrote it out on the airport, was I was going to turn Mike O'Donnell into Abundant Power, which was going to be a flying V of like 12 door knockers. And I literally have 2 or 3, and this isn't a sales division. This isn't I didn't start a new solar company. This is just Mike O'Donnell. I've got 3 or 4 closers that work with me as me, and they're on my appointments with me. So now I'm not in just 2 or 3 appointments a day. I'm in 2 or 3 appointments, and they're each on 1 or 2 appointments a day. So we're doing like 5 appointments a day, and we got this flying V of door knockers out, setting the appointments into that group. And I'm on those crews. I'm knocking on those doors at the same time.
Yeah, so you're kind of like hopscotching to the team is all collectively doing kind of a team effort where you're probably back and forth with those certain customers, or maybe are there times where I think a lot of people don't realize, like, same thing that Adam Shantz does. I mean, it's like you get in there, you sell it, and then you just say, hey man, you finish up the financing and all the other stuff. I'm gonna run to the next one. Is that happening?
I would like to have that. I've done that strategy when we're up against really intense deadlines, and I really have 5 or 6 appointments a day. I'll have somebody come with me, but maybe more like an administrative person, and they'll finish up the paperwork as I go and start the next one, and then they'll follow behind and do that. But I like that idea. That would be a great idea to have finish and I'm out and go knock on the neighbor's door. So yeah, but the idea, each and every single one of us is our own LLC. We're our own company. Start thinking of yourself as an enterprise. Start thinking of yourself as a business. Start thinking of the fact that you're going to be invoicing the company that you work for your paycheck, and that invoice can represent as much or as little of your own time and other people's time as well. And if all you do is get one person to go knock on doors so that when you're going into a presentation, they're still knocking on the doors behind you in that neighborhood, that's what that model was for me over the last few years. And then this year I decided to build that out on steroids and turn Abundant Power into a real enterprise. And and that's totally different from starting and owning and having a solar company. I'm talking about me, Mike O'Donnell, being an enterprise that includes and building other people, which has been a very, very rewarding experience in itself.
Well, I think a lot of sales guys, they get stuck. They don't think very abundant. And I love the name Abundant Power. They think very scarcely. They're like, this is my commission check. I need to keep 100% of my commission check. And they don't really leverage it. It's like if you were a 1099, you were a true business owner. Yeah. Most businesses have overhead as far as like an office space. Most businesses have an admin. Most businesses have, softwares and things like that. So it's like for people to say, to really think of themselves as a W-2 person, not a 1099, they're limiting themselves in the opportunity to actually go expand and create team and create an atmosphere around their enterprise. So I like this philosophy of really treating yourself as a 1099 business owner, getting creative and reinvesting to really be abundant and really grow that money. And that's something that you've obviously done extremely different than most in this space.
I really think it's a new paradigm really for American enterprise in general to say, what do you do? Let's compensate you extremely specifically by the value that you create. Let's hand you the money and have you pay the taxes on it because you're a business now. And then you can have your own overhead or not have overhead or however it is that you do it. And that really is the model. America is going to contract employees because enterprises need to be virtual. They need to have 20 accountants right now and then 2 for the rest of the year. And then they need to have this many guys that are involved in setting up trade shows for 3 days. And then they don't need any again for 90 more days. So people are starting to figure out, what's my value? How do I get paid for my value? How do I charge for my value, and then how do I increase the bandwidth to doing that? There's so much going on in an economy. So the way that we do things by hiring people 1099 and expecting them to deal with their own taxes and this and that, I was telling you earlier, we sort of struggle as business owners, as Sun Solar Solutions, we struggle. How do we stay inside the framework so that the IRS won't consider these people W-2 employees? They have to really be independent. Well, let's really embrace that. If the IRS is going to say, no, you really have to be a contractor. You have to be an independent business that's invoicing. So, we made all of our salespeople that were 1099 all go out and get an LLC. That's kind of when I first got the first part of that idea. Holy cow, now I'm an LLC as a sales guy. I'm an LLC. And so what does that mean? It means I'm a business, I'm my own business. And then we invoice our company for those commissions. They're, sales consulting or whatever the hell we call it. So I really think that will really start to, matriculate through the economy as saying, as people figure out that if I write this article or do this or do that, that I should get paid for doing that based on how much it's worth to the company who's selling the top line product.
Yes. I mean, just like, and a lot of people don't ever have that paradigm shift. They just still think they're W-2, even though they're a 1099, and they treat themselves like W. I just don't feel like people fully embrace the fact that's like, no, you're getting 1099 for a reason. The company wants that.
Yeah, your business.
You should want that. It's your business. I love that. And I think the more people took that serious, the more their production would go up because they take ownership over their business. They take responsibility. They take it a little bit more like, I'm invoicing for time. I'm invoicing for value. I'm investing in value to receive value. You know what I mean? There's calculable business moves you can make.
And if you really think about it, we're also at the same time we're creating all these 1099 employees. We're starting potential competitors. And businesses have always been scared of starting potential competitors. We need to embrace that too. We need to be excited about the fact that somebody gets so successful that they say, it's time for me to hang out a shingle and go, dude, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of this guy started out as a sales guy and now he's my biggest competitor and, maybe kicking my butt. So we have to kind of lose the fear, let that go and embrace some of these things that we try to build barricades around and go, let's actually just embrace it and run after it.
Hashtag abundant power. I love it. I mean,
we're 5%. I don't know where you are, but 5% of Arizona, the Sunshine State, the biggest state for solar in the world, is 5% solar. It's going to be 50% solar in the next 10 years. There's plenty of room for people to sell solar. There's not a scare. This isn't a scarcity thing. It truly is a thing of abundance.
You know how many people didn't go to Door-to-Door Con or didn't back it up simply because of that? They're like, what if my guy finds out that he can run a business? Or what if my guy finds out? Yeah, it's just like, he's going to. It's like, if you treat him as a leader and you show him clear paths, then he'll keep growing with you. If you don't, then he'll leave and go do it either way, whether this event happens or not. Like, just start thinking a little bit more abundant, and I promise you'll start to grow as an individual. And, that was kind of this embrace that I wanted the industry to have this uptick, because the essence of the whole event is around up-leveling everyone. So there's 30 plus people listening to this live right now, and every single one of them, I hope, has a freaking uptick of like, I need to step my own freaking game up. I need to take ownership over my damn paychecks, and I need to start thinking a lot more abundantly. And guess what? Like, your family life, your personal life, your business, your investments, your everything has a big uptick. It starts with that abundant mindset.
So you can think big, but you can act small. I mean, what I'm talking about is like literally visualizing yourself as this enterprise growth, more bandwidth, whatever. But really what I'm talking about is talking your cousin into coming with you this afternoon. Come with me, man. I'm knocking on doors. I'm making money. Just check this out. See what it is. Maybe you can do this too. And by the way, when I go into this presentation, you knock on the next 20 doors, and if you sell, if you get an appointment and one of these things sell, you're going to make $500. What do you got to lose? Let's give this a shot. And something I learned at D2D Con last year, the legendary dude from Solar City that spoke and whatever. I was talking about recruiting, this and that. And I haven't done any hardcore recruiting. We've started to actually do some advertising and things like that to find door knockers and things, appointment setters. But he said, never underestimate how miserable somebody is doing what they're doing right now. You know, and I'm using that in my pitch today for solar. We're 90 days away from the tax credit. Somebody buys solar today, they're going to have $15,000 in their hands in January. Never underestimate how desperate somebody is to have $15,000 in their hands in January. And so that same, you know, that's in the pitch of solar, but in the pitch of going to knock on doors, you know, never underestimate how, you know, how much somebody's dreams mean to them, that they'd be willing to come out and try this, or just have had a shot at it, and to have you give them a minute to show them. But it's purely self-serving, man. The reason I have people go with me when I knock on doors is so that they'll keep knocking on doors when I go into the house. And then maybe, you know, one night I can go to the movies or something while they're knocking on doors. And it's purely self-serving, but it also, you know, it also really turns around.
I love that. Okay, so I want to kind of finish up with this question that we kind of had proposed at the beginning. You know, this whole hack of like, I'm making so many millions of dollars, yet I still got to get out of the car door every day. You know, I think a lot of people think you're Superman, right? They're going like, this guy just must have been dropped on his head weird as a kid. So it gets so excited to just knock on doors every day. Like, I don't think that that's the case. No. I just think you've done something different that has trained yourself to do it. You know what I mean? What is it that gets you out of that car? Like what are some of those hacks?
Well, I tell you, if you know how to drop me on my head so that I can feel that way every day, feel free to drop me on my head.
Okay. We need to make a drug.
Between me and somebody else who doesn't do this is that I can do it. Not that I do it, it's that I can do it. Lots of people cannot do this. And I tell that to people, this is the easiest job in the world, but it's the hardest job in the world. There's a really, really good chance that you can't do it. And it's not because of you, it's because most people can't do this. And that's why we get paid, you know, obscene amounts of money for very short periods of time. And you have to figure out, what I have to do for me is I have to break it down. Why is that? Why am I getting paid a lot of money for a really short amount of time? And the reason is because A, two reasons. People can't do it, and B, I'm not getting paid for the time that I'm at the door with the yes. All right? Getting a yes is just a byproduct. The reason that I get paid a lot of money for the yes is how many no's it takes to get to a yes. And you've got to figure out a way to hack your brain to get you to understand that, because human nature takes rejection as an anathema. It's to be avoided at all costs. The amount of inertia to propel yourself up to the first door of the day, or off the couch that you happen to be on, or the bed that you're sleeping in, and somehow magically make yourself appear at a door of someone you don't know, have never met, and you're pretty damn sure they're not going to be happy that you're there. And then I say, and I got that guy with me. And that's why I schedule people to go with me. Because I got to go meet them at Starbucks and buy a coffee and then go pick a neighborhood and then show up. And then there I am. And I go, now I'm going to teach you the secret. This is $1 million secret. You ready? Here we are. This is it.
Okay. Thumbs up. Like this if you're ready for the secret.
The secret is you and I are standing on this doorstep.
Yes, the secret.
We're on the door. We're on the door. Hold on. Here it comes. That's the magic. The truth is, they're going to come to the door if they're home. They're probably not home, right? But if they're home, they're going to come to the door. They're going to come to the door. I'm going to say some stuff. They're going to say some stuff, and I'm going to leave with an appointment or without an appointment. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. So why are we getting paid so much to do that? Because people can't make themselves to do it. So how do you make yourself do it? You have to understand what you're getting paid for. You're not getting paid for the appointment. You're getting paid for the 19 no's that it takes to get to one yes. And you have to viscerally feel that. You have to viscerally feel that, and you have to understand that I'm going to go up to that door. I'm going to go get a no, and I'm going to walk down the driveway and go, $50 a no, baby. And you have to celebrate the no. You have to know, I just made $50, because We're not paying you $500 for the one guy that says, okay, show me an estimate. I do want to go solar. Sign here. Oh, here's your $500. That is not what the money's for, because any monkey could have been sent to the guy that said, yeah, I kind of want solar, so yeah, come over. And by the way, that guy got paid more than the guy who knocked on the door. That's a whole nother question, right? I think some things are backwards. The closers don't get to close if he didn't get if he's not in the door. So, if you're paying yourself $1,500 for the close and $500 for the door knock, I'm sorry, you're bad at math, because you didn't get paid $1,500 for the close and $500 for the door knock. You got paid $2,000 for the door knock. You got paid $2,000. Now, the appointment setter didn't get $2,000, and you cheated him and only paid him $500 for knocking on the door. The kid that knocked on the door for you, if he happened to get an appointment with you or for you, I'm happy to give that guy $500 if I get $1,500 more, because I knocked on the door, I pitched it, got myself the appointment, and then I closed it. I hand the kid $500. You got to think I'm a moron. But I wouldn't have been on that door. So the magic is being on the door and understanding that what the money is for being on the door, because 99% of the people who actually have a job doing this, not talking about the people who wish they could do it and make that kind of money, the people who are employed doing this are not on a door right now. And it's
100%.
because it's hard to get yourself to show up and be there.
Can I share VP of sales, I had 100 dudes, right? I had a bunch of setters. I mean, one of them's on here, Brandon Fish. He's listening to this, and he was part of this transition. It's fun that he's like live, he's commenting on this. I'm going to speak to this just because he's here. So give him a thumbs up. But and Brett, he was kind of all part of this whole transition anyway. He's on here too. So anyway, so I'm out here and I'm watching these setters that are studs. I had some of the sharpest setters, and I was like, and we had the setter pay scale, and I was like, man, I feel like they should get paid way more. And then I had these closers, and these closers, if they didn't have an appointment that day, guess what they did?
They're in the bar.
They're doing absolutely nothing.
No, they're in the bar.
They're doing whatever. And I'm like, okay, so you're telling me you're going to show up to this appointment that somebody got out of their car, that was hustling their A off, show up to somebody that's interested in solar enough to have an appointment with you. You present a savings to the customer. They then buy. And now all of a sudden you're some magical, should be put on a pedestal. Yeah, I'm a closer. I would never be seen as a canvasser. I'm not a setter. And it boggles my mind. So I was like, this is all backwards. They should be paying the setters way more, or they should be out there with the setters, and they should be getting in the trenches. And it was just so backwards to the point where I was like, if you can't close and you're a setter, you're gone. If you can't set and you're a closer, you're gone. And I just literally cut the company in half, because I was like, this is so backwards. And I think you said it best. I think that so many people get so messed up when they can't get out of their freaking car and get on the doors, because it's the no's. It's the $50 every no that you're getting paid for, because that means you are out there.
So go get the no. Get the no, celebrate the no, come down the driveway, man. I got the no. You got an appointment, good for you. That's a byproduct. Every 20 doors, someone's going to accidentally say yes, or maybe you got a little good at talking to people and they said, oh, I overcame an objection and they said yes. But no matter what, so many people out of so many door knocks are going to say yes. The yes is not the celebration. You got yourself to knock on 19 doors to get to that. And you need to attribute that value in your own mind. You have to hack your brain. So you're talking about the guy who can do it and is getting himself to do it. Those are two different things. Those are two different things inside of me. I'm two different guys. All right. So I've got the day that I'm meeting the appointment setter, or, I did this and do that. So I'm also that guy that's in my truck. I just wrote a 15 kilowatt deal. I just made thousands of dollars on a door knock that I made. And I'm looking at a guy washing his car next door. He's in the driveway to the next door neighbor. I don't want to get out of the truck.
It's crazy, because you just made so much money that you're like, I'm okay. And that happened.
What is that? What is that? It's mind-boggling. It doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you what it is. It's irrational. It's irrational, and the only way to overcome irrational is to hack it. So you got to come up with hacks. And I got a couple of hacks, and they work. First hack, I already shared it with you. Make an appointment with some kid you meet at Starbucks or your nephew or your cousin. Find someone who couldn't do this in a million years and tell them you're going to pay them $500 to hold the water bottle.
Yep. To just
And
be
learn,
like,
learn how to do this. But you know what's going to happen? A, you're going to show up. That's the magic. Number two, you're going to show off. When someone's with me, I show off. Okay, so I show off. I'm really good at the door because I'm showing off. Number two, I like hustle up to the next door. Why? I'm showing off. Okay, and then when someone says yes, I say, you know what you do after you get an appointment? You go knock on the next door. So I'm showing off. Do I do that when I'm by myself? It's a different level. I try to do it when I'm by myself, but I don't do it the same when I'm by myself. So have somebody to show off with. Plus, it's nice to have the company. And if at the worst case, they'll get a free Starbucks or something like that. That's hack number one. So here's hack number two. I told you the most meaningful thing that happened to me last year at D2D Con was Jeremy Andrus, the CEO of Traeger, used to own Skull Candy, has so much to offer in a short period of time as an executive and as a salesperson and a marketing person. But he happened to say something totally by side. Sure, it wasn't in his notes. And he said, it's kind of like doing one push-ups. It's like doing one push-up a day from Mini Habits. And whoa, what is that? I wrote that in my little, D2D Con notebook, one push-up a day, Dort, what is that? And so I ordered the book on the plane on the way home. It's a book called Mini Habits. And the idea of Mini Habits, go get the book. I'm mentioning it as an aside. Get the book. It's changed my life. I take vitamins every day now. I've never been able to take vitamins for more than 3 days at a time. And when you're my age, you're supposed to take that little tiny 81 milligram aspirin every day, or maybe bad things will happen someday. So I'm really glad that I've learned how to take my vitamins every day, but I learned how to do that by reading the book Mini Habits, and I now do one push-up a day. So if you're curious what one push-up a day is, go read the book. You'll find out what one push-up a day is. But that one push-up a day will change your life. But what it's about is hacking your own brain. And you're hacking your own brain by giving yourself goals that are so absurd that you would feel ridiculous and stupid if you did not accomplish that one stupid goal. You would feel stupid if you had a goal of doing one push-up a day and somehow you didn't do one push-up. You're like, I was too tired, I was too lazy, I didn't have enough time. So I was just about to tell you my hack.
Yeah, you're saying number two, and that's where I lost you. And then it was just like,
so the idea of Mini Habits, make something so ridiculous that you cannot do it or you'll feel like an idiot. So my hack is every single time, I'm on 3 appointments a day, so I'm always in a neighborhood. I don't have to get myself to a neighborhood. I'm always there. But what would be my reason for walking out of a guy's house with a 10 kilowatt contract, and the guy is next door washing his car? Why am I not talking to him, right? So I came up with a mini habit, and the habit is every single time I walk out of a house, doesn't matter win, lose, or draw, sale, close, doesn't matter, I am going to get one no. One no, not a yes. At first I said I'm going to knock on one door. I'm going to talk to one person. I found myself getting in the truck and driving out of the neighborhood and not do it. And I said, why is that? And in the book Mini Habits, he says, if you find yourself not doing a mini habit you said, it's not ridiculous enough. You have to make the mini habit more ridiculous. And so I had to lower the threshold of the ridiculous habit of knocking on one door or talking to one person. That hack has made me tens of thousands of dollars. Making myself get one no before I leave a neighborhood, or after I've wrapped up knocking on a session, I'm going to get one more no, not a yes. I'm going to get one more no. So between those two hacks this year, it's made a world of difference. I've taught it to a lot of the guys that I work with, and it's a big important part. So getting yourself to overcome. And guys, when we were talking about not wanting to get out of the truck, I not only not want to get out of the truck, I've been doing this 30 years. I'm pretty successful at it. I've trained lots of people to do it. I feel like throwing up in the bushes when I'm standing at that first door. So, there's this overcoming the resistance to this all-encompassing fear of rejection, and you've just got to push yourself through it and knock on that first door, and that's the first hack. Understanding that you're just trying to get there to get a no. I don't need this guy to say yes. I need him to say no. Get the no, get excited about it, get to the next door, keep rolling. Those are things that are just, they're worth their weight in gold, but they're very, very hard to viscerally feel right here in your guts, where that spot is where you feel like you want to throw up in the bushes. You've got to instead feel that I am trying to get a no, what that no is worth, and I'm going to get one more no. Yeah, so guys, something I really am looking forward to talking to you more about, Sam, later, and really to all of you. One of the things that came from the idea of the mini habit and doing something that's so ridiculously small, one push-up a day. When I go to get my coffee, I get my vitamins down from the counter that I put above the coffee. Those are little tiny habits that make, a world of difference. One of the things that led me to doing was reading a book I've had on my shelf for 30 years. The name of that book is Think and Grow Rich. And it's a book that's epic. It's a book that's world renowned. There's millions of people that spout that all the time. But it's been on my shelf 30 years. I've never been able to get myself to read books that I wanted myself to read. And this mini habit of reading 2 pages a day, as soon as I finished reading Mini Habits, I needed another book. One of my guys walked up and handed me Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. That book is changed the lives of so many people that do what we do, including my own. It is the basic text of teaching your brain how to be employed of the job of making a ton of money.